When 4 lions tried to prey on a mongoose, the creature's response left photographers awestruck. When 4 lions tried to make a meal out of this marsh mongoose, the little animal's reaction may not have been what anyone present had expected. Despite his shock, however, one photographer managed to capture some amazing footage of the strange interaction. And the wildlife photographer in question was Jérôme Guillemot. He was born in Montpellier in the south of France. Today, though, he dedicates a great deal of his time to photographing animals in the Languedoc region of the country. However, photography has taken Guillemot far beyond the country of his birth. For instance, he's traveled many times to Africa, a continent for which he is particularly enthused. Botswana, South Africa, Zambia, Tanzania, Kenya, and Namibia provide amazing photographic topics and incredible spotting, the snapper has explained on his website. And it was while capturing images of wildlife in Kenya that Guillemot spotted a curious interaction between a mongoose and some lions. Specifically, he was in the Masai Mara National Reserve when he spotted the standoff, and he successfully recorded the scene as it happened. In Guillemot's clip, the 4 lions are seen ganging up on a little mongoose, surrounding in a circle and cutting off its escape routes. But the big cats may have been surprised when their prey then decides to defend itself. As the scene unfolded, meanwhile, Guillemot was stunned. He later wrote on his website, "A conflict between 2 carnivorous species is a rare scene. But when one of the opponents, that is 2 kilograms or 4 pounds, faces 4 guys that are 100 kilograms or 220 pounds each, there can be no real fight." Indeed, while the skirmish may have initially seemed to have been one-sided, the mongoose doesn't intend to back down. What's more, although the lions tentatively try to fight back, swiping their enormous paws in the direction of the mongoose, the much smaller creature decides to launch a full-on attack on one of the fearsome felines. And this display consequently buys the mongoose time to escape its attackers and flee into a hole in the ground. This doesn't mark the end of the conflict, however. Indeed, the mongoose eventually reemerges from its hiding place, ready to return to battle. Then the mongoose begins screaming once again. What's more, in a surprising turn of events, the lions start to back off as the mongoose approaches them, and having confused the beasts once more, the mongoose finally runs off, leaving the big cats behind. That concluded the unusual fight with an unpredictable outcome that even surprised Guillemot. Indeed, although the Frenchman has photographed African wildlife many times before and often spots unique animal behaviors, witnessing such a plucky mongoose was a first for him. Of course, I was sure that the mongoose would not escape this fight, Guillemot explained to National Geographic in 2014. As always in this type of situation, it's a mix of excitement to see such a rare behavior and grief or empathy for the expected death of the small one. Sanderson explained the mongoose looks like it's trying to defend itself or its territory from the lions. She added, it's possible that the mongoose has some pups in the den, and that could be why it's fighting so hard to scare the lions away. Sanderson continued, I don't know how common it is for marsh mongooses, but I have seen banded mongooses attack many animals bigger than themselves, such as pythons, baboons, and monitor lizards. And Sanderson explained to National Geographic, we're always bemused by the fact that the banded mongooses we study seem to attack pythons much more than is necessary, and if they find one sleeping under a bush, they'll attack it repeatedly. As for the lions, Sanderson has an explanation for their behavior, too. It's important to point out that the lions in the video are quite young, she said. You can tell that they're young because of the spotted patterns on their legs. The associate research fellow added that because the lions are still growing and learning, if it is possible, the young lions are only playing with the mongoose, rather than trying to eat it. However, this is not the only time that humans have seen a mongoose taking on a lion. In another encounter, also recorded, a pride of lions is stalking and then chasing a group of mongooses. Luckily for the mongoose, the lion releases it from her claws for a few seconds, and this window gives the smaller creature its chance to fight back. Indeed, it's seen screaming loudly and advancing on the lion, which then begins backing off. So, when faced with larger predators, these plucky little animals will stop at nothing to protect themselves and their young. Indeed, they just won't back down, and it's little doubt that they hit well above their weight, too.